Hey, everybody. I'm under the impression that they're waiting for standing by here for it looks like they're setting up a staging area now. So um so let me kind of just make sure I've got the okay. I'm gonna go ahead and start streaming it, okay?
Was. That funeral home is about 4 blocks away from us down this street.
Now it says this
As you
is
can see, there is a heavy law enforcement presence here right now. We have a Department of uh, Troopers, DPS here on site, local law enforcement as well, Border Patrol
so
agents.
we
And for
are
those of you that
waiting.
might be wondering why there might be a
I did,
heavy
Rena,
Border
but the
Patrol
press
agent
conference
presence,
briefing
it's because
is
we're
at
not too
7.
far from the border.
So
I've spoken with the mayor's office
I'm
as
gonna
well. He tells us right now this is a very flexible and fluid situation. But one thing he
stream
could
this
tell us
now,
was
and
this
then
is a
we can come
community
back
that is
later if we
very
want.
strong, very connected, a community of
But
farmers
apparently
and
the
ranchers,
schooling is
and
just supposed
this
to give
is
us
a
a
very
briefing at
devastating
6 o'clock
situation for
Central.
them. I mean, this town has less than 20,000
We just
people in
watched
it.
this.
So this is an extremely difficult situation for them. A lot of these family members
This is
are
when we
lingering
already
right
watched.
behind us. They are waiting to hear any information
that is getting ready for a vigil tonight. Of course, the whole community wanting to come together during such a hard time, but that's what happens a lot, right? People just want to wrap their arms around each other and pray and just come together.
Yeah, and we had heard earlier from Archbishop Gustavo Garcia Sierra. He really shared.
Let me
a
make sure
message
it's
of
not another
hope,
channel. Yeah, it might. I
and
wonder
really
if it's just for
prayer.
the school that's
I think
briefing at
that
7.
can
But
go a long way. I think sometimes when things like this happen,
let me check.
it can be trivial to some people, but I think especially with this community, they need that and they need your help. And if you physically want to do something too, we had also heard from Troy Kless at the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center. You can certainly donate to make a difference.
And right now we want to go to Alicia Nieves, who actually moved over to a different location, a new staging location for media. Alicia, those flags behind you flying at half staff.
As directed by
I
the
did
President of the
criminality,
United States,
and it
you
just
saw on Twitter earlier, guys, that
kills me.
the president has been briefed about what happened here, and he has spoken with Governor Greg Abbott and is offering any assistance. When we pulled up here at our new location, it was maybe about half an hour ago, we saw county workers begin to lower the flags just in memory of the lives lost. And we've been talking about this since we've been on the air about how this kind of thing just does not happen in Uvalde. We work Sutherland Springs, ladies. We have heard about
Sutherland
these
Springs, another horrible
cases
one.
across the United States, and then when it hits home, it hits hard. And the county worker who has a child in pre-K, he is from here, and he just told me earlier after he finished lowering the flags that it's just hard news to settle in. He hasn't accepted it yet, as I'm sure many other people haven't either.
I believe so,
we have
Stephanie.
Parents who are likely still waiting to pick up children tonight at different campuses. I heard about parents who had a child in pre-K who were waiting for about 5 hours to pick them up from school. And so we are hearing all of the updates on social media from the school district.
I didn't see a Teresa.
To see if they are going to be doing another press conference here at the Fairplex, which
Oh,
is
that's
where
T.
we were relocated. We were previously at the Civic Center, and we are still waiting to hear back. You can see it's windy. It looks like it's really about to start pouring here in Uvalde. So if they do have a press conference, we are being directed inside.
Okay.
And we are just waiting on word to see when that will be.
Okay, originally it was supposed to be at 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock Central, but it doesn't sound like that's going to happen.
The police department as well. So we have post notifications turned on, and we will keep you updated as soon as we hear if they plan to release any new information. Hopefully that will come sooner rather than later. I mean, in conversations with people today, they're saying there are just more questions than
Rena.
answers at this point.
Yeah,
Lots of
they
people
did
want to
say
know
to
the
prepare
motive. Lots of
yourself in
people
the
want to
next few
know
hours for
why would
images
someone
of the
like this,
kids to
why would
start to
someone
be
target
released.
children? You know, the innocent lives lost, and it is just hard to comprehend. So once again, I will keep you ladies posted if we hear anything new.
Thank you so much, Alicia.
Let me see if there's a.
And you can see behind her, flags are lowered in honor of those 14 children and teacher who died.
It's now 6 o'clock, and if you're just joining us, we have continuing coverage of a mass shooting out of Uvalde. So we want to go over what we've learned so far today. Pete Arredondo, the UC ISD police chief, gave us a brief statement. He said this all began around 11:32 a.m. at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde. Now, that's a second, third, and fourth grade campus. And we learned that the suspect entered that building possibly with one gun, maybe two. Suspect identified as Salvador Ramos, an 18-year-old Uvalde local. While in there, he shot at students and teachers. We learned that 14 students died, one teacher died. Police were able to take down that shooter, who they say later they believe was acting alone in this. Families are still being notified. Several students were transported to Uvalde Memorial Hospital.
I know,
We also
T.
had
They said that
two
those were
people
probably going to be coming in
transported
the
to
news in the
University
next few
Hospital in
hours.
San Antonio, a 66-year-old woman in critical condition, a 10-year-old girl in critical condition. And we also learned that there are two adults who were also transported to BAMC, one of the other hospitals that was allowed to take some of those transports from Uvalde Memorial. Now, just recently, a reporter at the scene there at Robb Elementary School, we learned through Vanessa Croy that there was a Border Patrol agent who also was responding to that
Rena,
location,
exactly.
to that active shooter situation.
Hey, Shalma.
That Border Patrol agent was injured, but they say he is going to be okay. So some good news there. There still was parents picking up students as of 5 o'clock earlier. It's now 6. They are still notifying parents, so we still are waiting for a lot more
at my kids'
information.
school, you
Now,
have
we
to
also know
buzz
the
to
Church
get
of
in.
Christ is going to be holding a prayer vigil shortly. That's coming up here in just a bit. And also, if you would like to help, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. tomorrow, there will also be a blood drive at Herbie Ham.
And speaking of blood drive, Audrey, Troy Class has been at the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center talking about the donations that have been coming in. 25 liters of blood have been sent to the district, to the area in Uvalde. He joins us live. Do we have him? There we go. Troy, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Sharon. Well, while we were here earlier today talking with the South Texas Blood and Life Tissue
Exactly,
Center
Dippity
about
Doo.
the donations, there
What's
was
crazy,
one
and I
man
didn't
that we
know
spoke
this,
with
is
that his blood could likely go to
it is,
assist
Tim.
as well. The center is currently on standby to send additional blood, but like you mentioned, Sharon, 25 units have been sent
This is
so
the
far.
30th
15
school
were
shooting
sent
of 2022,
in
and I
the
had no
initial
idea.
aftermath and the response to the shooting there, and then 10 were sent later in the afternoon. And again, it's a critical component to the response for a traumatic event like this. We were talking with the Blood and Tissue Center, and they say they have a program called Brothers in Arms that provides blood in situations like this. And again, you can go to southtexasblood.org if you want to donate. And again, we have that donation that's going to be coming up tomorrow in Uvalde, like you mentioned as well. Back to y'all.
Thank you, Troy. We know that one donation can save 3 lives.
Absolutely. Well, right now we want to get over to Henry Ramos. He's been at Uvalde Memorial Hospital, which took a lot of the injured there. Henry,
watch just a couple minutes.
Joining you right now.
I do, Audrey, and please bear with us because the wind, these gusts are certainly picking up. So I apologize if it's a little bit difficult.
I don't know, Rena. Me too. How did I miss that?
Oh my God, are you okay?
Okay,
I'm so sorry. Please bear with us, folks. Hopefully
this
wind will pass. I'm so sorry. So go ahead, and for everyone that's watching, why we're meeting today, because your niece, who is more like a daughter, attends Robb, and she's missing right now.
Yes. Her name is Ileana Torres. If anybody knows where her whereabouts, please contact my sister. Her number is 830-279-8358. Her name is Sandra Torres. We are in disbelief of this tragedy that happened, and we have not yet gotten any answers of where her whereabouts are at. And please, if anybody
Hey,
has
Brandy.
any news on her, any hospitals that have any information on her, please reach out to us and let us know that she is at y'all's facility, and just praying
I
for
said
a
that too, just Jill.
safe
My
return home.
husband disagrees.
So you came here to the hospital here to see if she was here, and how long were you here? And you said that process, the way that they were identifying was tough.
Yeah, it was tough. They would ask you for a picture, just a picture, this description of what they were wearing this morning.
So wait a minute. Do they have to
And
take all of the thing? Do they take
it was hard.
even the deceased to the
They did take
hospital?
my sister to the back to identify, thinking it was my niece, but it wasn't my niece.
Oh
So
my
she's not at the Civic Center nowhere. Like, I mean, you have no idea.
We have no idea, and it's not like her. It's not like my niece.
Yes, Rena.
Not to reach out.
Did you
Because when
just
she
hear that,
feels
y'all?
she's
They
threatened,
took her
or
back,
scared,
parents
she's
back to
always
identify
calling on her
a
cell phone. She'll
deceased
blow up
child.
somebody until somebody
It
answers
wasn't
her.
her niece, though.
And up to right now, to this minute, we have not gotten one phone call from her, and her
Ugh.
phone is off.
What's going through your mind is you're trying to make sense of, to find where your niece, who's more like a daughter for you, who's 10 years old, who was at Rob this morning, and then making sense. We have 18 children died today. I mean, what's kind of going through your mind right now as you live in this?
She's way better
in this
put together
town?
than I would be.
Well, it's 14 plus because they're dying as, I guess, they're working on them. I'm just praying that my little one is okay.
I did not know there was
I believe in the
people
power
that
of
were
prayer,
injured
and
there at the
I
hospital.
believe that I want to tell myself that she's okay, and I'm going to keep telling myself that she's okay and she's going to come home.
Can you show us a picture of her real quick, so that way and you have her on her?
Oh, this
and you
isn't
said,
gonna.
you know, we kept saying, we've been saying, if you can kind of zoom in there, Irissa, that this was the last week of school. She had a softball game today.
Oh my
She's
gosh!
a
Stop
fourth
with the
grader.
softball game.
She was
Oh,
looking forward to school, ending.
She was very excited about her softball game today. She was kind of nervous. I talked to her last night, and she was kind of nervous, stating that
oh my
it was her
gosh!
last game and she didn't want softball to end. And she was excited because they were gonna, I guess, announce the ones that made it to All Stars. And she was also saying, like, what if I make it? I'm gonna
Oh
be
my
so
gosh! Oh
nervous.
my
And I
gosh!
was like,
How?
girl,
Oh
you
my
got
gosh!
this. You're gonna be good at it. You got this. So she was excited about her game today.
Is that the last time you spoke with her as of right now?
It was the last time that I spoke to her was yesterday.
For people that are watching, and people all across that are watching, when they're
Oh
here
man,
in
I'm
Uvalde and
sorry.
they're
I'm
hearing the
just.
tragedy and the children and the lives lost,
But that's
what
the
do you
last
want them
thing
to
she
know
said. You
about
know,
this
she went
town?
off to school
And
thinking she
as
was
we
gonna
try to
have a
all kind of
softball game.
make sense of this with you all right now?
Well, all law enforcement is doing what they can and what's expected,
Oh,
and just for the safety and for everybody, and wanting everybody to
oh no!
hopefully they find their
Is this
loved
phone ringing?
ones. That's all I can say. I hope they find their loved ones.
And for
I
you,
know.
we
Okay.
hope the same. So where do we go next?
Next, we're headed out to the Civic Center
Keep looking.
where the waiting starts there as well.
Oh
Will you please
gosh.
keep us posted?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, the
Stay
Civic
strong.
Center
Is
is.
there anything
Oh,
else you'd like to add? We appreciate your time.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Be safe. I mean, and that was kind of echoing, I mean, as you heard there
I know.
live,
True
the
crime,
same what
Brandy. I
Vanessa
know.
Coy was saying, is that a lot of family members, showing up to Robb Elementary, even there, still not being able to find their loved ones. And you have loved ones that are showing up here to the hospital, trying to see if they're here. And you heard that, I mean, this couple,
I did
talking
not know,
about
y'all,
the
that they
fourth
were
grader, their
working on
loved one. They've
kids
been here
too
for
at the
hours. It's a
hospital. Oh my gosh,
process as loved
Sandy,
ones
me
are showing
neither.
up, not
And Amber
knowing
just said I have to
their
cook
loved
dinner
one
and
is
I
here
don't
at the
even want
hospital,
to eat.
if they're being treated, if they didn't make it. We know that
I
that
just
two
hope that
people that
baby's
arrived
okay.
here
Well, I
didn't
hope they're
make it.
all
I
okay,
do
but
know that
still.
one of those was a 10-year-old, and I mean, as you heard, it's tough. And they're asking
Sandy, I
questions.
think,
What were they
or
wearing when
Savannah,
they
I
went to
think
school
so. And I
today?
also
Can you
think
have a
that's where
picture? Let's
they're
identify
notifying
them.
families of the
There's
deceased.
so many different stories out there, and it's tough hearing that, because it's so much much worry, and it's hard
So from
even
my
to
understanding, I know
wrap your head
President
around
Biden
that,
is
to even
addressing
get
this at
families
8:15,
like that,
but I
loved
also
ones,
know that there's
to
a press
talk about the
conference that was
heartache and
supposed
the
to be right
pain and
now,
the
but
unknown and the
it's gotten
uncertainty.
pushed back, I
And
think.
every single one of these people out here have their own
Another briefing.
story. It's not just like the grandmother that I interviewed hours ago, who was fortunate enough that her 9-year-old grandson, who was a student there, was grazing the bullet.
Hey,
He was
Aussie
able
True
to
Crime.
walk out, which it is great, and I don't want to diminish that, but we also have to remember, folks, that there are a lot of people out there at this time that have either are mourning the loss of their loved one, or there's so much uncertainty that they still can't even find them at this hour. And here we are, the 6
I'm
o'clock hour.
curious. My
And so
husband was
that,
wondering
just
the
to give you
class
some
size
context there, we'll send it back to you.
because
We wish that family the best, and we hope that they can locate their niece.
Yeah, a lot of heartbreaking uncertainty, heartbreaking mystery, unfortunately. And we have just learned that President Biden spoke with Governor Greg Abbott to give him any assistance that he needs.
Absolutely. And right now we want to go to Vanessa Croy, who is at Rob's Elementary School. She's been there all afternoon. Vanessa, any update from that scene?
Well, first of all, Audrey,
I get it, Brandy.
that family that Henry was just talking to, that's a heartbreaking reality for many families out here. We've seen parents, other family members coming out
Stephanie.
here asking law enforcement on the scene, how do we find out where our children are? They had been everywhere else in town.
I think so, Savannah, but now but Stephanie said she heard they were at recess, so I've heard both. They haven't, I don't think they've released it completely yet.
FBI agents walk towards the front of the school. We don't know if the investigation has actually moved, the part of it has moved to the front of the school, but we have seen San Antonio Fire Chief Charles Hood escort some families in the front of the school. Can't imagine what they're facing when they enter those school doors today.
Oh my gosh.
I talked to the
Prayers
sheriff on my way out here
prayers
earlier today,
to this,
and all he could tell me, couldn't even give me the
these
details of what was
officers.
unfolding inside. It was right after they somehow took down the suspect that he said, this is absolutely horrific. He said, our worst nightmare has come true. And I can tell
so
you,
sorry,
Audrey
Amber.
and Deb as well, Sharon, excuse me, that, as a former teacher, you do many lockdown drills. You do many of these drills a couple of times a year, but you never expect them to be real. And I can't imagine what those teachers were wondering today, the uncertainty of what was happening outside their classroom doors as they're inside trying to protect those kids and their care, and the children who are sitting in the classroom wondering what's happened.
I know, Amber, they had 2 days left.
Their classroom, and now that we've learned that so many children and a teacher have died today, this community is really hurting out here. As I saw today when I first got here around 12:30, when I saw officers walking out of the school building, their faces, these are seasoned officers with tears coming from their eyes, leaving the tragedy inside that school building.
Oh my gosh.
Back to you guys.
Thank you, Vanessa. Vanessa is live there at Robb Elementary School. She has been there for hours and has seen the terror, the panic from law enforcement officers. Again, this has been truly a community-wide effort. You have DPS, you have FBI, you have
I know, Rena.
Police, San Antonio Police, Bexar County Sheriff's Office, just an extreme law enforcement presence.
Unpopular, I agree. I actually considered keeping my kids home just because I know it's silly, but
was walking in there with community members and families who are truly going through this heartbreaking experience.
No, Amber, definitely not.
And right now we want to get on over to Alicia Nieves. She's at the Uvalde County Fairplex, where we are waiting to
Where
get
is that peaceful plant?
Officials. Alicia.
We were relocated here, Audrey, from the Civic Center, where we had been staged since about 2:30 today, and we are awaiting to see if there will be a press conference. We are all ready. All members, all journalists are here, and we hope to be briefed with some.
It's hard because I know if I get off of here, they're going to go live to the press conference.
We had spoken to some parents who are just saying, right now there are more questions than answers. And we saw that CBS News, for example, they're speaking to parents who know what this feels like. Not too long ago, they interviewed a father who was affected by the Parkland shooting in Florida. And he says, our hearts, some people might say our hearts are with the families, he says, but
that was on, no, I was one, it was on Twitter, Peaceful Plants. Okay.
And this happening in Uvalde,
7 Central, Amber, I just don't know how to tell time.
Here, and they say it's just hard to fathom that something like this could happen here. And we are seeing support from all across South Texas,
hey,
as
Michelle,
you mentioned. When we arrived here, we went to a staging area, outside, I believe it was the old library. It was 300 West Main here in Uvalde. And we saw ambulances from different areas of South Texas. You had Utopia Volunteer Fire Department. You had Val Verde County EMS. And then you had San Antonio Fire. They were the ones who were in charge of that staging area. So you really had just teamwork going on standby in case those entities were needed to assist in this terrible tragedy that happened at Robb Elementary School. So that is just another component of what we have been witnessing today, is how all of South Texas, both emergency responders and community members, are coming together to just try and help in any way that they can. You had, for example, out of San Antonio, District 8 Councilman Manny Pelayas. He was on Twitter encouraging everyone to donate blood. And I heard you ladies talking about that as well, about how it can take 20 minutes to make a big difference. So we have a link on kens5.com with more ways community members can just lend a hand during this really
I know,
difficult
Boston, I
time
can't even
for
eat.
Uvalde.
And now
We
picture
will
having to
update you
go.
all if
My,
we hear any more information on when
I'm telling
that
you,
coming press
though I know
conference will happen.
law
The
enforcement and
school
stuff,
districts
but
and members of law
nothing
enforcement,
I think
Uvalde
can ever
PD, the
compare
sheriff's office,
you
they've been
for
really,
walking into
really
a scene
vocal
like
on
this to
social
clean up.
media. So we hope to hear an update from them soon. Ladies.
As always, thanks so much, Alicia, for that update. And like she
Wow,
mentioned, a
peaceful
lot of
plants.
people reacting, a lot of local, state, national leaders, including some local school districts. South San Antonio ISD is changing their protocol in response to the Uvalde shooting. They say no backpacks allowed
I tell you what,
at
if my
any
kids had
campus
2
for the
days worth of
next
school,
2 days.
I wouldn't
Campus
send them.
accessibility is limited to parents and guardians with proper identification, and additional safety support will be placed
Amber.
at every campus. Thursday, May 26th, will be a half day for all students as well. And the district is reminding parents, again, Thursday, May 26th, half day. Elementary school ends at 12:20 p.m. in the afternoon. Middle school will get out at 12:45, and the high school and DAEP at 1:10 p.m. So just an update there for you all who attend South San ISD.
All right, let's go to Matt Houston, who is live at Sacred Heart Church. That
Oh,
is in
this
Uvalde,
is one of the places
church that Archbishop
oh no,
Gustavo
peaceful
Garcia
plants,
Sierra
really?
mentioned earlier.
Oh my gosh.
Sharon, the prayer vigil will start here in about 15 minutes. In fact, you might be able to see some people going into the church behind me. I'm not sure how good our angle is going to be at the moment. I stepped in a few moments ago just to sort of see what the atmosphere is like inside. There's probably 25 or so people in there, some clearly in prayer, hands folded, knelt on the kneelers in the pews inside the Catholic Church here. Some simply in quiet reflection, eyes open, looking back at the cross in the center of the cathedral here in Uvalde. We expect the Archbishop to deliver some sort of address here again in the next 20 minutes or so. The prayer vigil doesn't start for another 15. You heard his message earlier here on KENS 5, talking about looking at each one of these children as people, as victims, but as the next generation of residents here in Uvalde, and remembering their contributions to societal happiness in the area, and pondering that while also remembering a time of tragedy and looking for hope in all of this. And so you can expect that will be part of the message as you see more people entering the church right now. Again, probably 20 to 25 people inside.
It is
very
definitely
quiet,
Boston.
as you can imagine, at Sacred Heart. Of course, there is another prayer vigil on the other side of town at the Church of Christ here in Uvalde. You can imagine, even if they're not in churches, there are a lot of people praying in this community tonight. And
I'm looking to see what other coverage is going on as well.
Sharon, you've talked a lot about the sense of community here in the last hour or so. This is one way that manifests itself, when people come together and join hands, religious or not, to remember a tragedy and look forward to whatever comes next, and what will be a days-long process trying to determine what happened, how families will respond. So again, a prayer vigil set to begin here in the next 15 minutes or so at Sacred Heart Church. There are people inside. It's quiet, as you can imagine, and I would imagine that will probably stay that way throughout the night. We'll keep you posted as we participate in that and see how folks are reacting to all
Depending on what this is next, there's a 2-minute video I want to pop over to of a grandmother talking
that
whose
prayer service
daughter
at
was
Sacred Heart Church that starts in about
shot
15
today there.
minutes. Earlier, Archbishop Gustavo Garcia Sierra had also mentioned after that prayer, there's also an 8 p.m. mass that will begin after that.
All right. And, Uvalde PD, they just updated us as well. They said they are going to hold a press conference where we're expecting to get more information on this mass shooting at Robb Elementary School. Alicia Nieves is there. But before we get to her and we get to that press conference, we want to go to Henry Ramos, who is at Uvalde Memorial Hospital. He's been speaking with families who have been coming and going from that location, some with injured family members, some searching for family members. We're going to go live to him now.
Yeah, Audrey and Sharon, I mean, I will tell you, like, this is extremely tough. I mean, for all of us and all different corners of Uvalde, speaking to people, and obviously because it's so much emotion, so much that they're going through. And I actually had to take a minute to myself because especially just interviewing.
No, let's not
that
focus
aunt
too much on the guns
still
in
looking
chat
for her
because,
niece,
for
and
one,
it's after 6 o'clock in the evening.
I know
mean,
people
her
will
niece,
strike
who's
me
in
just because
4th
that's how
grade,
they
10
are.
years old,
And for
was
two,
went
I
to
just
school
don't want to
today
get in the gun
and was
debate.
looking forward to her softball game today, and she still hasn't been found. We're talking to family members who lost their loved one today. A 10-year-old girl lost her life at this hospital today. 13 children taken in buses and ambulances
Oh, no, you're
to
good.
this
You're good.
hospital today.
I
We've
just don't
got
want any idiots to
healthcare
strike me.
workers inside trying to save them, doing the best that they can. And a small community where, as I've mentioned all day, they probably know these kids and whoever came here in terms of adults. I did speak to a woman who actually was trying to just drop off a letter at the mail, and I respectfully went up to her. I didn't mean to scare her, but I went up right behind
Amber,
her.
no,
She turned around. She said, "I
please
just
don't
watched you
apologize.
on
You're
the air, Henry." And
completely
she said,
fine.
I just live a couple of blocks down.
You're
And
completely
I said,
fine.
"I'm so sorry, but as someone who doesn't live here, and a lot of people who
I
do live
totally
here
understand
and
where
who
you're
are
coming
hearing
from.
Uvalde for the first time, what can you tell us?" And she said, "Well, let me tell you that I was actually a secretary at Robb Elementary for more
I don't
than
know all
20
the
years.
TOS and
Her
stuff, and
husband
people
was a
have said if
principal
you
at
talk
Robb
about that
Elementary.
stuff in like
Her son
politics and things like that in
used to be a
chats, they can
student
strike
at
you,
Robb
but I don't
Elementary.
know if that's true.
Robb Elementary, even though she's not from here, is home for her. She's walked those hallways. She knows that school. And to hear that today, that someone went in there and that you had children losing their lives inside a school that she worked for, it's tough. And so I want to play a little bit of what she told me. Take a listen.
That's where I worked. And so it's my school. I consider it, our school. So it's just breaking my heart. It's just breaking my heart. I just didn't ever expect anything like that to happen here in Uvalde. And then
I agree, Savannah.
person that did this, he was going to high school. I mean, he was going to high school here. He was a high school student here.
Right now?
Right now.
Is it just hard to put into words? I mean, I can see it in your eyes. You're like,
I couldn't believe it. But I was watching. I finally said, no, I'm not going to watch anymore. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it anymore. It's just so hard. Like I said, that was where I worked for 25 years. My husband was a principal. My son went to school.
Oh, peaceful. Are you kidding me right now?
just a candid conversation. I mean, you see the raw of emotions, and that's how it's been, and speaking to a couple of grandmothers today, both of them, their grandsons are safe. You have JJ, who was pulled out of the classroom, pulled out of the window from his dad saving other children. You had another 9-year-old who was able to walk out. He was graced with his legs, speaking to his grandmother, who prayed that her grandson survived, and he did. But as these families rejoice, as these communities, as people in this community, I should say, try to rejoice in the survivors, there's also that heart, because their neighbors, their
I'm
loved
looking,
ones,
Mrs.
these
P.
kids that didn't make it. And so every single person that I've talked to, whether it was in this parking lot across from the hospital, whether it was over the phone, whether it was over Facebook video chat, every single person told me the exact same thing. And it's a
Kids.
message that I keep repeating because I think it bears worth repeating every single time. When you're in a small town and there is tragedy, when there is something that is just ripped from you unexpectedly, this is when this community unites. This is when this community comes together, as we see the Archbishop of San Antonio coming here to a parish here in Uvalde, as we see people now offering prayer services and vigils all over. This is what this town is about. I have reached out to the hospital to see if there's any update about the 13 children that were taken here. We do know that 2 people did die here. I have not received any word.
I didn't see what Stephanie said.
I will, of course, pass that on to you. If I talk to any more people out here in this community, of course, I want to share that with you. This is a difficult job for every single one of us back in the studio and on the ground here, but very important to make sure that we give you, the viewer, you at home.
I don't know that she did. Did she,
tragedy.
Savannah?
We tell these stories of this community.
I don't see it, Mrs. P,
Sheridan,
on
Audrey?
Newsmax
And
or.
Henry, before we let you go, I do want to ask you a question because you had spoken to a woman earlier. She was looking for her niece. Can you share one more time her name? I know that she's still looking for her. She went to a softball game and she still hasn't been found.
She hasn't. No, Sharon, and thank you for that, because there's so much that's happening. I took a picture on my phone and from her phone, and we want to show you. So Irisa, if we can show that. Yes, this is Liana. She is 10 years old. She is a 4th grader. You can see she's in uniform. I don't know if my phone is a little bit too dark there, but she's a 4th grader. She hasn't been found. Her aunt and her uncle were here at the hospital for several hours as they tried to identify. They went through the identification process here with several other families. The staff here asking, well, what did your loved one wear to school today? Can you show us any pictures? And at one point, they thought that she passed away, and they went back there, and it wasn't her. And so when I talked to her as she came back to her car, there's so much uncertainty and so much unknown as they're looking for this little girl. And I think it's fair to say that there are so many families in the same.
I'm gonna leave this for 1 second, y'all. I have to go get butter for my child.
That have been showing up to that scene at Robb Elementary, where they're still looking for their loved one. This particular family said they were going to go to the Civic Center. They're not giving up. They want to find that little girl.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Henry, for that update and, that really moving interview. A lot of people probably feel the same way. Shock, no words to put to this terrible, terrible situation. But, right now we want to get back to Alicia Nieves. She's at the Uvalde County Fairplex, where we are waiting for
they do not, Savannah.
Uvalde PD on this investigation.
If you're all okay with this, this station for now, I'm just going to leave it here because I'm not finding it on
minutes away.
coverage on the other
we will
channels.
Bring that update to you live. As I mentioned to you ladies earlier, lots of questions about what was the motive in this crime. We heard tips from the governor about whether more than one weapon was in the hands of this 18-year-old from Uvalde who opened fire at Robb Elementary School. So we are hoping to learn.
It is my understanding that this isn't a very big.
Which again,
my husband has been by there before because he used to live in San Antonio. He said it's not.
We will
it's not super big though.
Updates to you as soon as it is over as well. So, ladies, I will keep you posted.
Thanks so much, Alicia.
Yeah, I think we're all wondering, what was this man's motive? What was this 18-year-old Uvalde resident's motive for going in and shooting children?
Okay, let me check.
Elementary school, 14 children dead, 1 teacher dead. I mean, I think that is the big question.
Absolutely. And we do know also there was a Border Patrol agent who was injured.
Sorry, guys.
Responding to that scene. And like Vanessa said, a lot of those law enforcement agents, they are local and everyone is connected. Like we heard from that former school district employee. She had kids who went there. She went there. It's such a small town. Everyone is connected and knows someone somehow who's being affected by this situation.
And who do we have next? Okay, we're going to go now live to Troy Pless at the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center.
Okay, I'm trying to find WFL.
Thank you, Sharon. We're here where earlier today we saw people that their donations will likely be flipped and turned around in the next 24 hours to be able to to the Uvalde response. Now, if we do have video real quick, we can show you of the helicopter that launched around 12:30 this afternoon and got to the Uvalde Memorial Hospital within about 45 minutes. So it's a very quick turnaround for them. I spoke with George Eisenhofer about why he's donating and why it was important for him that his blood could help in the response to this tragedy.
I was in the Army. When I was in the Army, yeah, they gave blood all the time. That was, Vietnam was going on, and we gave blood a lot. So, but for whatever it's used for. But no, I heard about that Uvalde shooting, and I'm not sure. I didn't hear any of the details on it, but if the blood's needed there, I'm fine with that.
If you want to donate as well, you can go to southtexasblood.org to sign up. And again, in Uvalde, there is going to be an emergency blood drive tomorrow morning from 9 to 1 a.m. And we'll have more details about that as well. Sharon and Audrey.
Thank you, Troy, and thank you to that kind donor who is donating blood at this moment. So
what is happening?
We do want to just do a quick recap of what we know so far of the situation.
Hold on, y'all. I'm changing this.
This happened in Uvalde, which is 80 miles west of San Antonio. It happened at Robb Elementary School. Around 12:17, shots fired. It was an active shooter, and all campuses, including the elementary school, went on lockdown. We do know that Uvalde Memorial Hospital received some patients, about 13 students initially, and 2 who arrived were deceased when they received them. University Hospital here in San Antonio also taking care of 2 victims, a 66-year-old woman and a 10-year-old girl who are both in critical condition. We know that about 600 students, is that right, Audrey? 600 students. We're also we're at that elementary school, and right now you're taking a live look at the media conference that's supposed to be happening in a few minutes here. Alicia Nieves is live there. She had shared with us earlier that we are expecting a press conference from Uvalde Police. I would assume the district as well.
Yeah, we're hoping to find out more information.
Unpopular opinion, there was
they want more answers.
Miscommunication at the beginning of this, and then it got changed.
About a motive, but back to what took place today. We do know that Uvalde Police were the first on scene at this campus that houses second.
It does seem that they're going to start soon, so I'm going to
like you mentioned,
keep it where we're at.
Students at that campus. A Border Patrol agent who also responded was injured, but is said to be okay. We do know 2 additional people were transported to BAMC as well. But right now we want to get to Matt Houston, who is at Sacred Heart Church there in Uvalde, where a memorial service is about to take place. Matt.
Yeah, the pews are quickly filling up here in Uvalde, probably a good 50 or 60 people inside the cathedral behind me. We'll give you a look at the doors as you see some more folks strolling in at the moment. Just a few minutes ago, really heartbreaking, an older gentleman
I think so, Kelsey.
and said his grandson is one of the people in the hospital right now. He showed us a picture from his wallet, a 10-year-old who was at the school at Robb Elementary today. I asked him what he's here to do, and he said, pray hard. So he walked inside, as did, several other dozen people who are now, quietly sitting in the cathedral, waiting for a sort of.
Y'all, I'm not gonna be able to sleep knowing that girl that we saw her picture. Now I feel even more emotionally invested to her.
8 p.m. with the Archbishop, but I would imagine it will be a quiet chapel until then, with lots of people in reflection. I mentioned we went in a few moments ago just to sort of get a sense of the atmosphere. Very quiet. Lots of people with their hands folded up against the pews, kneeling, praying. Lots of people just sitting there. We've seen some congregation members walk in with flowers and leave them toward the front of the church near the altar. There's about 6 dozen or so bouquets sitting there right now. Of course, you could smell the incense inside the church. One of the beautiful aspects of Catholicism, and certainly more to reflect on today as you sort of get that feel for the sense inside the church and what things are like.
You say hi.
5 or 6 more people walking in right now.
They won't mind if you say hi.
Their phones. They're
oh, okay, peaceful
plants.
On
the information
you said you wanted to say hi, and I said it was okay.
Over the course of the next couple of hours, again, even people inside with family members impacted by this in the hospital right now. And as a community of this size, as we've been telling you all day, everybody knows everybody. And so if they're not personally impacted with a family member in the hospital, their neighbors or, co-workers or people that they go to church with, they are impacted. And so
I
it
love you
adds
so
extra weight to the
much.
prayers
I know.
leaving
I
this
just wanted you to
chapel
know.
tonight.
I love you so
Certainly
much. What?
silent
Do I want a biscuit?
reflection
No,
at
thank
the
you,
moment.
sweetie.
You can see a couple of
With
people
butter.
congregated near the doors. We've
I'm
not
all
heard
set. You have
bells
them
or
all.
anything like that.
I don't want one of
But
Okay,
there's
here.
definitely a crowd growing.
Here's
I'm
one.
seeing a couple of other people on the other side of the
How'd you
chapel
even
right
take
now that we
2
can't
of
show
them?
I
you at
only
the
want
moment
one.
because
Just
of
leave
our
them down
vantage
here if you
point,
don't
but
want
they're
them.
hugging each other, embracing tightly. There will be more of that inside this church tonight, as well as at the other vigil at the Church of Christ on the other side of
This is
town.
my
Lots of
almost
prayers going
10-year-old,
up tonight
so
for obvious
he's
reasons.
been getting a lot of
As many of these
me
families and friends and parents,
hugging him and
students, reflect on this situation and this tragedy here in Uvalde, trying
you're
to
still
make
a
sense of
9-year-old
it.
till this
The
month.
more
Yep.
obvious place to turn in this time is
They
we
want to see us
see
safe.
many
Come
of
here. They
these
want to
people
see.
doing just that right now, walking into the Sacred Heart
Come here.
Roman
No,
Catholic
come here.
Church here in Uvalde. Again, we expect the Archbishop will deliver a mass around 8 p.m. The prayer vigil is set to start really any minute now. It's still quiet inside. And it will probably remain that way even once the service begins. You're going to see a big family walking in right now, one woman carrying a box of tissues. That just speaks to the reality of the situation. And you heard the Archbishop talking a little bit about that earlier.
Good night,
He
sweetie. I love you
mentioned
too.
remembering each of these victims as a person, not just a number, but a member of this community. And there's no better symbol than that for all of the tragedy and the sadness right now than carrying a box of tissues into the church as you're about to pray for those victims, pray for your family members, pray for your loved ones. And I cannot imagine what the message will
Absolutely,
be
Jen.
or even preparing that message.
Honey, stop that with the goldfish.
Did a pretty unbelievable job of
I love
describing
you.
the atmosphere and then finding some hope to hold on to in this sort of situation. As he spoke
Oh, I'm good. I didn't want to interrupt you, but
a while ago here on
I
Case
don't know.
5,
We all needed to hear
you
a
can expect he will
fourth
do
grade
everything
kid that
he can
was.
to comfort those members in the audience and again remember those victims as people, not just as numbers. And that's something
Well,
we're going to
Rena,
have
they
to
don't
keep in mind
technically
over
actually
the
go to
coming
bed,
days
but they
as
like
this
to go upstairs
coverage evolves.
and just chill in the room, watch their TVs or
obviously that's
something
something
until
that
they
starts
actually
tonight.
fall asleep.
We understand that there's a press conference coming here shortly. We're going to throw it back to the desk at the moment as we sort of wait on leaders to give us an update about what's happening. Guys.
That's right. People, teachers and children, second, third, and fourth graders, some of the youngest innocent lives affected, 14 dead, 1 teacher dead as well, and 13 children injured. We've had 2 adults at BAMC right now injured, fighting for their life. We
I'm
have
comfort
one
eating
woman
right
at
now.
University Hospital in her 60s and a 10-year-old girl also fighting for her life at University Hospital.
And as we just heard from Matt Houston, who is live at Sacred Heart, Heart Church, the pews are filling up, and the community is coming together to lift the families and the parents.
Oh, Kristen, I know.
Absolutely. All
Vicky,
right.
yes.
Well, we want to go to Henry Ramos right now. Again, he's at Uvalde Memorial Hospital, where he's been
I'm gonna
speaking with a lot of those families.
Keep here, guys, because believe it or not, some channels are covering
and also
elections and stuff, whatever. But
Henry.
Yeah, Audrey and Sharon, I mean, it's just a culmination of so many different things. For every family member, it's extremely different. As you mentioned, we spoke to the aunt who's still looking for her niece. I've talked to 2 grandmothers whose both grandsons were in Robb Elementary, and one was shot. He's okay. As I step aside here, though, just to kind of give you, at least to tell you, for those that are watching and give you an idea of what it looks like outside the hospital, the scene has definitely changed. We've arrived.
Rena, it's 7:30, and my husband just took my daughter fishing. So
more than 3 hours.
Um,
We had a huge string of law enforcement out here
I
guarding.
think he needed a little time hearing about this. He needed a little
that was here earlier in the day
kid time, I think.
as we've seen. We still have just a few family members that are still arriving, but not many. You can see there's
Rena,
there's
I
one
would
lady
love
in
it.
scrubs there that's getting out of her vehicle. But I've heard so many different stories, and one that I haven't shared in a while. But and this is just to give you the context, that insight every time, which is so unfortunate when we report on these types of situations, on these mass shootings, we always hear of from loved ones. What did they say when this was all unfolding inside? And so this came from a coach inside Robb Elementary, and she had sent this to all of her loved ones. And I shared this
Oh,
a few
Riley, I
hours
wish
ago,
my
and I'll share
kids
it again
school
for
would.
those who are joining us. She had mentioned, and she had sent this to a text to all of her family members, and she wrote, "Someone is shooting at the school. I love you."
Oh my
The
gosh.
last three words, "I love you." She sent that to all of her family members, and she the coach had hid in a bathroom, was able to survive and was able to walk out. You can just imagine the family members that received that text message of their loved one saying, "I love you," not
Oh,
knowing if they were going to make it out. And in this case, she did. And speaking to this loved one who shared this with me, they shared this because they are a member of this town. They grew up here, and they were saying that, in this type of community, in this small farming community, it's just unthinkable. There really is no words, and really the message that they have as just saying that their continued thoughts, their prayers, that's all they ask. And especially at a time right now, I mean, as Sharon and I have been mentioning, and in these situations, as us that are on the ground reporting on it, and those of you that are watching, you ask yourself, what can you do in these types of situations? Obviously, we've seen, as Troy has talked about, the critical need for blood donation. We know that there's going to be a blood drive here tomorrow that you don't need to register for. It's happening from 9 to 1. But prayers, I mean, that's the biggest thing. And whether just, if you don't pray, just lift these families in your thoughts. Think about them and the heartache and every situation that is so different. The families that are still searching for these children here into the evening as the sun is now going down here. That heartache and that pain is certainly not going to change, even though as the day progresses here. And as we continue to be here on scene, we're going to be with you all throughout all of this. Our hearts are with you all, and
I
every
still
single one
haven't
of us
found the girl
here
that we're now
that are back
emotionally
at the station
invested
and here
with.
on the ground, because this is a tough job. But know that we
Does
are
anybody
here and
remember her
thinking about you
name?
all, because our hearts are heavy, as well as
The
this
little girl that we're
community
all
of
looking for?
Uvalde. I'm still waiting on a response or any
Oh, absolutely,
update from the
Boston.
hospital, because the only thing that we do know that they'd put out, that 13 children were taken here via school bus, via ambulance, and as well
It
as
is,
others were
Lana.
taken here. And we do know that 2 people here didn't make it, and then they had to transfer others to San Antonio hospitals, which I know we've been talking about. Sharon and Audrey.
Thank you so much, Henry, for that update. And yes, we're all feeling it. The city of Uvalde is feeling the pain tonight. And right now, Deborah Knapp joins us again for our continuing coverage on this mass shooting at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde.
They're
Yes, and
trying
Audrey,
to
we
find
just
her,
got word that
Boston.
Salvation Army is sending a canteen truck to Uvalde to
I
feed
mean,
the
their
first
biggest fear
responders
right now is
and
that
anyone there who
she
is
was in
hurting,
4th
which
grade,
of course is the
and their
whole
biggest fear,
community.
Alana, okay,
And 2 prayer
is
services
she's
are
in the
underway
school.
right now. One is underway at the Church of
She wore her
Christ, the other
softball
at
jersey to
Sacred
school
Heart
today because she
Catholic
was supposed to have
Church.
like a little
Archbishop
league softball
Gustavo
game
is
tonight.
on his way there and will hold a
Yeah,
mass
Vicky.
at 8 p.m.
And
We
we're also waiting
heard
for
from
a
his
press
aunt,
conference.
her
Uvalde
aunt,
Police Department, right there. That's what
and
we're waiting for. They're supposed to come out and speak, and that press conference is being held at the Uvalde
yeah,
County
she's missing.
Fairplex. That's where
Apparently the
they
hospital
moved the
took her
staging
back
area
to
for
identify
this evening.
what they thought was her niece at the
Our
hospital.
team is
It
there,
was not
Alicia Nieves, and we
her.
should be bringing this to you live, and of course
But now they
online
are
at
going to the Civic Center to
KENS5.com.
wait
But
and
a
see
lot
if
of
she's one of
unanswered
the.
questions that we're hoping
Oh,
possibly
Boston,
we could get more answers this evening.
if you could see her,
Yes,
yeah.
we have 3 adults in the
The
hospital
reporter
right
took a
now,
picture
all
of
here in San
her pic.
Antonio.
I
2
can't.
at BAMC, 1 at University Health in critical condition, a 10-year-old girl in critical condition here, and then the children who are in the hospital in Uvalde. And we don't know any of their conditions.
No, we don't. We also know a Border Patrol agent was also injured when responding to that scene at around 11:32 this morning. So, luckily that agent is going to be okay.
Hey, Gladys.
Yes, and these are pictures from Chopper 5 over Robb Elementary School. Now, officially, we have only heard from the chief of the
Mrs. Portland, that's what I'm hearing. Can somebody else confirm that as well? Stephanie and Mrs. P said they've heard.
We've only heard, thank you, Audrey, from
3
him,
adults and
it was
18
a
kids.
very brief 3-minute press briefing that he gave us and told us very little.
Mhm.
So we're waiting to hear more about what happened. Right now at Robb Elementary School, we saw San Antonio Fire Chief Charles Hood walk into the school with some parents, I presume, 14
Okay,
children
MJ's life.
killed and a teacher. We believe those bodies are still inside the school.
Okay.
A great big evidence truck pulled up there about an hour ago.
God
Yeah,
bless
and
them.
taking a look from the ground, it looks
Telling
like
you
that scene is
that
still
that'll
very
change their life
active as
having to walk
well.
into this.
Vanessa Croy was
Those
there
police,
all evening long, still
FBI.
there. They keep pushing that scene back further and further because it is an active investigative scene. Now, we also know that DPS is also involved in this investigation. Earlier, we saw the FBI showed up on scene as well. And of course, the number of local law enforcement agencies who also have traveled to Uvalde to give their assistance in any way that they can. But so unfortunate about the 14 children whose lives were lost and that one teacher who also lost her lives. And then, of course, those others that
Rena,
were
I
injured
believe it did, yeah.
and who are fighting for their life this evening.
Yes, and then
That's
some
it, Stephanie.
parents, as we know,
600
still
kids.
looking for their children at this hour. Just heartbreaking that they don't know where they are. Hopefully, they'll get word they're with another
Yeah,
family.
if this one little
we
girl that
certainly
we
hope
saw,
that's the case. All of this unfolding at Robb Elementary School today. And
I'm sure we'll hear
we
here
are
in a
told
second.
an 18-year-old who is a resident of Uvalde walked into the school at 11:30 and just started shooting and killed 14 students. These students range from second, third, and fourth grade. And now we're going to go live to the
Here we
police
go.
chief in Uvalde.
Good afternoon. I'm Anne-Marie Espinoza, Executive Director of
I know,
Communications and
Lana. You're
Marketing
making,
for
I know,
Uvalde
making me
CISD.
cry.
Please understand, at this time, we come to you to share information. We will be providing a statement and not taking any questions, for the investigation is not complete. This is a tragic time in our district, and we greatly appreciate your patience and understanding. Here to provide a short statement and not take any questions is our Uvalde CISD Chief of Police, Pete Arredondo.
Oh, wow, Gladys.
I don't see a switch.
Would you like for me to do this again? Let's do this again, Pete.
Sure.
I apologize. I did not realize we were not on, and you probably could not hear what I was saying. I'm Anne-Marie Espinoza,
I
Executive
know,
Director of
Lana, I know.
Communications and Marketing for Uvalde CISD.
I
This
know.
is a tragic time in our district, so please know the investigation is not complete. We will only be sharing a statement with you, not providing questions. We greatly appreciate your patience and understanding. Here to share a statement and not take questions is our Uvalde CISD Chief of Police, Pete Arredondo.
Thank you. Good evening.
All right, Angie, baby.
Again, briefly, as of now, we're still working on this active investigation. Once we're able to provide information to the families, we will do so first and foremost, obviously. Our priorities is to get information to our families and give them some information. So please bear with us in regards to that. Secondly, once we do get some information that we can release to the public, we will be doing that. So please know once we do get some information, we will share that with you and call another press conference. Let me assure you, the intruder is deceased, and we are not actively looking for another individual or any other suspects in this case. We definitely ask you all to keep the families that are involved in your prayers. Thank you so much.
Here to provide a statement and not take any questions is our Superintendent, Dr. Hal Harrell.
Good evening. This was a tragic and senseless event today, and my heart was broke today. Our hearts and thoughts and prayers are with all our families as we go through this day and days to come. A few announcements that we need to make is beginning tomorrow at 10 a.m., we will have grief counseling and support at the Civic Center for our students, our staff, community members, anybody that needs to come at that time. And we may be there more than one day, may be there several days. Our Rob staff will meet at 8 a.m. At the Civic Center as well. We'll begin with visiting with them and seeing what those needs are. School will be closed. The school year's done. We will have no school tomorrow or Thursday. All activities are canceled throughout the district. No graduation is on people's mind. We will come out with a notice on that at a later time. All the staff members, they will report to their campuses, other than Rob campus, which will come to the Civic Center. Again,
oh my gosh, MJ's life, thank
today.
you.
We're a small community, and we'll need
It's just
prayers
been
to get us through
updated,
this.
guys, to
Thank you.
18.
Again, this is a tragic event in our community. We are very sorry that we cannot provide you more information, but greatly appreciate your patience and understanding during this very difficult time. We ask
Mrs.
that you
Portland,
pray
is her
for all of the
nephew part
families
of the
affected.
school?
Thank you, and be safe.
Okay, so we just heard a press conference. First, we heard from Uvalde
Oh my gosh.
UCISD Chief of Police. He didn't really give us too much information. We were hoping for more information on a motive or victims, but he didn't give us too much. But then we did hear from Dr. Hal Harrell, who is the superintendent of UCISD, and he did call this a tragic and senseless event. He said, starting tomorrow at 10 a.m., there will be grief counseling services at the Civic Center for students, teachers, staff, or anyone in the community who may need it. They also would like Rob's staff, so that's the teachers and staff, to report there at 8 a.m. at the Civic Center. And as of now, the school year is over for UCISD.
Right. He said graduation will be rescheduled and all teachers are to report to their campuses, but students, the school year is over. And of course, there'll be grief counseling for everyone in the community and everyone there at the Civic Center, beginning with
Yep,
the
it has
Rob
been
school
updated
staff.
officially.
And the
At least
school
18 children and 3
chief
adults.
really did not give much information. He said they are still getting information to families. It is an active investigation and they cannot release any information right now until they speak to the families, which of course we can all understand. And right now we have a confirmation of 14 dead.
That's what I'm trying to understand,
children,
Mrs. Portland.
14 students and a teacher.
And right now, we also want to go to Victoria DeLeon, who's at the Church of Christ there in Uvalde, where a memorial service is being held. Victoria.
Right, Audrey. Yeah, this church just 3 minutes away from Robb Elementary, and they're expecting to have a prayer vigil up until
We're going to stop this
7:30
for a
tonight.
minute.
It was
Oh, I don't know who Brandy is from Robbie's mod chat, but are you saying that her nephew was in this school? I don't know. I'm like, whoever got that name and can follow that girl on Twitter, I just have a really bad feeling if she hasn't been found yet. And if they haven't been able to notify the families yet of the victims, I don't know. Everywhere I see says it says it's 18. It says that there's just under 600 students, which is yes, he was 18. They don't know any motive yet. 3 adults, school less than 600. Now it says it serves students in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade. So it doesn't say that they were in all those grades. So I am wondering if it was like one class or NewYorkTimes.com. Yeah, I can't NewYorkTimes.com live. Okay, because I can't put that or click that link. Um, yep, 18 children. Here we go. 18 children are killed in Texas elementary school. 16 people, including 11 children, are at the hospital right now. I don't, Atlanta hit it. Okay, good, Mrs. Portland. I mean, I don't even know what to say. Oh, he was a senior at the high school. I didn't know if he was already um graduated or not. I just want to make sure there's tweets coming in, and he entered the school with a handgun and a rifle. Okay, good. Oh, did you? Okay, thank you, Rena. I guess I'm just like trying to figure out. Good, Mrs. P. I'm just trying. I know you heard me with my 9-year-old. I keep saying I love you. He's like, I know, I know. I'm just trying to figure out the why. Like I don't understand the why. Why the elementary? Like, well, why? Obviously, why at all? But I just we're still gonna have an open panel, I think, tonight. I don't. I gotta tell you, man, this takes a lot out of you because earlier was like, talking about Eli Hart, and that's a pretty heavy case, and then all of a sudden this came out of nowhere. I mean, obviously not like it is for them, but um, so everybody's saying that the grandmother did live then. Okay. Really, Mrs. Portland, Brandy Kinslow? Oh, wow. That poor grandmother. Oh, something else just came in. Um, says after. Wait. What appeared to be the shooter's Instagram account deleted shortly after Abbott identified him, featured photos and story, blah blah blah, as well as a selfie resembling the mugshot of the killer ship. Oh, gosh. Oh, they're saying that people are trying to be funny, I guess, and so they are like taking images of the shooter and like making accounts with his face on it and stuff. Like, wh- I, he was Stephanie? This guy? I knew the Buffalo guy was, but I didn't know he was too. You got to be kidding me right now. Please tell me you're kidding me. 1 second. Oh my gosh. That's what I heard as well. Okay, I'll look at that MJ's life. So I'm reading, this is from one of the parents. Nikki Jackson was one of the 14 families waiting at Uvalde Civic Center on Tuesday, waiting for updates on the missing. She feared the worst, that her nephew Uzziah Garcia was among the murdered children. The fourth grader was in the classroom where the teacher was killed. She said, on Facebook, Jackson shared a desperate plea. We are being told some kids ran from school into the houses in the neighborhood. And they still haven't found him. And it says, she says, I'm just hoping they say my nephew is one of the kids who ran away. I don't. Okay, awesome. Oh, did you find it? Okay, guys. Okay, so we're following this girl right here in particular. No, honey, she went fishing with Daddy. Sorry, y'all. Fishing, Daddy? Yeah. I'll be up in a minute. No, I want to sit down here. Okay, well, you need to turn that. You can't watch that. Has to be like on low. Okay, Punkette, can you please keep that, like, keep us updated? Can you send me that link, Punkette, or... Oh, Rena, can you send me any links that anybody puts? I feel like I got hit by a truck. Hi, Mommy. Hi, buddy. See, Rena, he did. Why do you feel like that? Oh, why do I feel like that? Just a lot of heavy stuff. I got hit by a car once. I know you got hit by a car once. Thank you for reminding me. My toe did not like it. You need to turn that way down, like on 0 almost. I think my toe died. Thank you, Punkette. Not that happened. I think that my toe died. Mommy, you didn't have to yell at him for doing that. It was an accident. I didn't have to yell at the man for hitting you with a car? Okay. We'll talk about that later. That was an accident, Mommy. Okay. Talk about that later. You're kidding me. Yeah, Savannah, that's the 18 kids and then 3 adults. Jen, hold on 1 second. Elijah, you got to turn that like off or like way, way down. I know I'm down. I got it. Okay, going. Hold on, y'all. I'm getting to an email. I'm coming. I thought you were going to bed, bud. All right, I gotta get it, guys. I gotta get it. Talk amongst yourselves. What? Buddy, they can hear everything you do. All right, I'm pulling up this video. I trying to find a. I don't see the video. Oh, it's taken off. Hold on, y'all can see this. You won't be able to see the thing, but you can see that she was right. Hold on. I'm going to Brittany. Whenever you're ready to come up, tell me because I'm dragging. Yeah, it was, but they can see a hold on. They can see a okay, y'all ready? See right here? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, peaceful plants. Okay, Brittany. Yeah, I don't know why you guys. This just wiped me out. Between this and doing Eli and stuff, it's just yeah. So this right here, it looks like somebody is saying where they at or something. So, all right, Michelle. Okay, see ya. Yes, I believe it is unpopular opinion. All right, going to look now, Punkat. I know, it's just it's so senseless. It's just okay, so you're telling me that was the shooter that oh my gosh. Okay, I don't see it yet, Punkat, but oh, okay. Whew, MJ's life. I mean, not that that's any better, but still. I'll let you know when it comes through, Punkat. Brittany, do you want me to? Do you want to wait and come back? We can come back. So you can get the boys settled and. Well, wait, when's Biden addressing?
Wait, she has kids like you?
Yeah, honey, some of these people have kids. Wow. Yeah, send again, Punket. Let me make sure it's right. It says, yeah, no, you're fine. Hey, you're fine. You're fine. No, we'll probably hop off here in a minute, and that's fine. No, do it. You haven't. I can gather a few things then, okay? Elijah Parker. Oh, honey, I just doxed my own child. Oh, well, thanks you, Angie, baby. I just definitely doxed my own kid. It's all right. Yeah, no, allegedly with Brittany. That's a good idea. Okay, we'll hop off here for a little bit. Come back on. I don't think that like I know Biden's going to address it, but I don't think he's going to, he's not going to have any more info, but I imagine that things are going to keep coming out here in the next couple of hours. So we'll regroup, and y'all have my email. Please shoot me an email ASAP if you hear anything. Okay, KNS. I imagine, like I said, there's going to be some more info. Yeah, once they start notifying people. But all right, so we'll be back here in a little bit when Brittany's ready, and she'll come up here, and we'll open it up to more. Just please, guys, the only thing I ask on panel for me tonight, because I'll cry easily, is
He always cries.
I do not always cry. No political or no gun talk on panel and stuff, just because tonight we just need to be peaceful with each
You
other,
always
okay?
cry when you talk to him.
All right, y'all. See you
I'm
later. Thanks,
joking.
guys. You're
Just
fine, honey.
always.